Welcome to episode 4 of the Publishing Persuasion, a podcast for writers, by writers. We're just chatting about the writing life and the chaos that it is. I am Angela Montoya, along with the galactic, out of this world, amazing Melanie Schubert. Melanie, how are you today?
Hello, Angela. I'm good. I'm still a slight hot mess because I power walked to grab coffee. The tragedy is the line was so long. I was like, if I wait, I'm gonna be late. So I didn't get coffee from there, but I made one at home. So I've got it here, ready for our little catch up today with Courtney. But so how has writing been for you lately? Any updates you want to share or what you're working on?
I'm telling you, I have been a hot mess when it comes to writing.
We're soul sisters.
I have been all over the place. Like, I was really excited about one project that I was going to be like a young adult paranormal. Like, I actually plotted it out. For once in my life, I plotted it out and I started writing, and I just I was pushing and scraping through each word. It just wasn't working. So then one of my good friends, my critique partner, Kelsey Gonzalez, she, I just have to say her name like that. But she was like,
well, now.
She's the best. Her sense of humor is on point. She's funny. But she was just like, why don't you go back to your original book? She's read it, go back and try it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I got really excited about that. And then I could not get past the first chapter. I was like, I have all this knowledge now that I've written 2 books. I've learned so much. I can be so good. And then I literally was like, I was the world building, the whole thing. I just ended up getting stressed out. And then 2 or 3 days ago, I woke up and I was like, wait a minute. And this idea just came and I started writing, and I powered through the first chapter in 20 minutes. And I mean, it's not a great chapter, but I was finally, for the first time in forever, I'm excited again. And I'm just yes, thank you, writing gods. Thank you.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So that's what I'm up to.
Yeah.
How about you? What are you doing?
Yeah. So I am revising Soul Swapped from YA to adult. And as you know, got that amazing feedback from, I went with Manuscript Academy with Linda Camacho. Writing friends, if you don't know Manuscript Academy, go find it now. It is going to be the missing link between things. And so, yeah, you can literally pay agents and editors to look at your stuff. So she looked at my sub samples and she said it was very strong. So I'm just on cloud nine.
Yeah.
And yeah, so just continuing to revise that up now and get it ready to go into the trenches as an adult. My first adult, me as an adult, as my first adult book. And tomorrow I actually have a big pitching op. So we've got something called Kid Lit Vic here in Australia. And yeah, I don't know what will happen, but I'm excited. It could be nothing, it could be something. So I'm actually pitching to Penguin and Hardy Grant. So I'm pitching my Pitch Wars book. So yeah,
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Australia's a bit different to you guys, I think, because they can actually acquire it. So that's kind of nerve-wracking. But I'm just going to have fun with it. I'm not putting a lot of weight on it because my focus is kind of on Soul Swapped anyway. But if something magical happens, you never know. Yes. I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah. And is it a Zoom call is what it is?
So 12-minute Zoom call. And they actually kind of just want to get to know you as well. So I can talk about other stuff I'm working on too. So it's my first time. After all these years writing, I haven't actually done something like this. So yeah, it's a bit surreal, but I'm going to just enjoy it.
That honestly, that sounds, I mean, I couldn't do it. I would be a mess. But you will charm the socks off of anybody. So like whatever happens, I already know it's gonna be like, well, I made a best friend, you know.
Well, that's the thing.
But you know,
it's networking regardless. That's how I'm trying to think of it. And yeah, I think Pitch Wars kind of broke me in, and like doing our podcast broke me in for this kind of stuff. So I'm going to be nervous for sure, but I don't know. I feel okay. Surprisingly.
I love that. Well, and you have, what I liked is when you were texting Jess Para, or not texting, but, you know, DMing us, and you were like, oh, I could also pitch this book or this one or that one. And I was like, damn, girl, like you got it. You've got books. You've got things in the pocket ready, especially, are they just young adult?
The other ones are, I think God of Pestilence could swing either way. It could go up to adult. The other ones are YA, definitely.
And is it, what did you say was, what agency or publishing houses was it? Harley Quinn?
Penguin and Honey Grant.
Oh, okay. Penguin. Yeah. Okay.
I know, right?
Like, I'm just so excited. I can't wait to hear just how like.
Is this so wrong then when you were like, you got books? I was like, I got hoes. In different area
codes. Area codes. Is that not like such a terrible song, right? Like, like I got
so bad.
Like, and like I was probably, I mean, you probably weren't even born yet, but I was probably a teenager, maybe older when that came out.
2 years older than me or something.
Yeah.
It's like half a day older than me.
You're such a baby.
No,
but yeah, it's so funny when you're no, you're like what, 34?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm 30. I'm 36. So
That's 2 years.
36. I know. I forgot how old I was the other day. I don't know. Did you see my story?
Yes, but I can't remember.
She asked because I was buying beer. She asked for my ID.
Yes, she did.
And I was like, I handed it to her just thinking, oh yeah, okay. You know, because I just had a hat on, like no makeup, a mess. And she was like, how old are you? And I was like, I blanked. And I was like,
I forget all the time.
Yeah. I was like, I'm 36. And I was like, oh wait, no, I'm 37. And I was like, no. And she was like, okay, just take your card and beer and go.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love that. Well, before we get too distracted on
oh yeah, sorry. We did.
No, it's not you, it's me. Let's get on our amazing guest for today.
Yes, I am so excited.
I'm so excited to have her on.
Get Courtney Kae on.
Yes.
Hi. There she is.
How are you?
Looking all cute.
You guys look cute. How's it going?
So good. How's your mac and cheese?
Mac and cheese is served. I felt like a god because I cooked it in like 8 minutes.
That's very impressive. I'm not going to lie.
That is impressive.
I feel like one of those tell me you're a writer without telling me you're a writer should be, my child has eaten mac and cheese 3 times this week at least.
Yeah. I hold no judgment. No judgment from my end. I don't even know where my kids are right now. So.
Oh my God. Before I logged on, it was getting dark in here and I thought I should turn the light on. And I got up. I forgot that I had my headphones on. It turned me back.
Oh,
I have 1 of water and 1 of a Jose Cuervo premixed margarita. And it fell and spilled all over. But I still have some, so we're going to be okay.
Oh my God. I'll cry over spilt wine for you.
Yeah. I know. I would be bawling right now. So I get it. I get
Mine is
cheers
because in Australia it's the morning. So I think if I started drinking at like 11 a.m. it could be a problem.
We'd be having nap time.
So we're so excited to have you on today, and I just finished your amazing book this week, and it was such a guilty pleasure, and I just love it. I love it. In the Event of Love, everybody get ready for it. Coming soon.
Thank you.
Yes. I honestly, it was funny because Courtney, you and I were like chatting yesterday just about the podcast. And as we were chatting, Melanie messaged me and was like, oh my God, I just finished this, in the book. And like, I am here swooning. And I was like, I know.
Oh my God.
Majorly swooning. So and I definitely have a buy streak. I'm just like, this is so hot. I would like go there for Rachel.
Oh my gosh. The greatest honor.
That's so fun. Yeah. Oh, Melanie and I had this whole discussion because I was feeling the same way reading it, and I was like, I've never had these feelings before. But
I would like you both to blurb for my book. Thank you.
She makes me feel things I've never felt before. And it was amazing. True. It's so funny. Yeah. Well, I want to say, well, no, it's not my first book. I'm trying to think like what I've been reading lately, but I want to say this is like kind of my first book in a while with like a bi main character lead, and I just freaking love it so much because I don't consider myself bi. I don't, I'm pretty just right on that boring, just heterosexual side of things, just
you
lame,
are who you are.
boring. I am who I am. I've never felt ways, but reading this book, I was like, wait a minute. But like Melanie and I were talking, like really, it's just, you feel the love, like you feel the emotions between these characters, and you fall in love with them and with their relationship, and it's so special. And I would read this book 20 times a year. Oh
my gosh, you too. I'm gonna cry. Thank you, that means the world. Thank you so much. I'm so honored you both read. I know what incredible writers you are firsthand. So, I mean, I'm over here just freaking out, so excited to talk to you, and just really honored that I'm thrilled that you loved it. It's like such a, release of breath when your friends love it, and thank you. Thank you so much.
I think that is the most nerve-wracking thing, is like having your friends read it, and I totally get that 100%. That's the scariest thing in anything, especially like if they read it and then like say nothing and you're like,
it was great. It was good.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah. But just know on the side, Melanie and I were chatting about it the whole time because that's just how good it is.
It is. And honestly, I'm not just because you're my friend. I was literally like, I found myself going around the day and I was like, I've got to get back to watching that. And then I'd get to lunch and I was like, what was I watching? And I was like, nothing. It's your book. Like I was just like trying to think what I was like, when you're like, got to get to that next episode. I'm watching Friends at the moment. It's like, oh my gosh,
nice.
And Chandler about to have sex, And it was that kind of feeling. And I'm like, oh no, it's your book. And it's just like literally a guilty pleasure. So thank you.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Oh my
your
gosh.
book it plays like a Hallmark, like a sassy Hallmark or Netflix special,
I mean, that was my whole desire going into it. It was just like this space that I wanted to exist. I mean, when you watch those holiday movies, so many of them need more diversity, and there are so few, especially like about queer couples. And when I started writing this book, I just made it into my playground. Like no book existed like that, and I wanted to read it. And no like movie really existed like that at the time that at least I knew of. Especially not one, I mean, this horny, let's be real.
So hot. I thought it was hot at the start, and then I got to the middle, it got hotter, and then I got to the end, and I was just like, I'ma just turn down the blinds, have a quiet moment.
Love it.
So was there like a inciting idea that got you going with this book, or just is there a real life, I need to know, asking for a friend, is there a real life Fern Falls type place that inspired you?
Absolutely, yes.
Yay!
So that question first, there is a little tiny mountain town called Pine Mountain Club that's in Kern County, and it is basically the entire geography of Fern Falls is Pine Mountain Club. I was reading it to my husband one time because it was almost word for word this drive that we went on there. And we were laughing, and then also the adjacent town, Snow Hill, is completely based off of Mammoth area. So I love that about creating fantasy worlds, and you still get to do that in contemporary fiction. And I think coming from a fantasy background, that was one of the most fun things for me. Creating, the sort of culture and environment, and it's the geography of places that I've visited, at least from what I remember in my mind. Images you pick up when you visit, you kind of translate them into what, put them over the top what you would want in a story. So that was so fun to do. But yeah, it was absolutely based off of Pine Mountain Club. And then I just interjected everything that I wanted to. So all the stores, all the everything, the people, the culture. It was so fun because you had something that existed, like a framework to start off of, build, the bones off of. And I really loved that.
And you added a little Christmas magic in there, and then poof, it is magic.
Thank you.
It's one of those towns, like I wish I could go in there and go to the little coffee shop and the little fairy garden.
Me too.
And the whole shebang.
And
I want it in my world.
Oh my gosh, thank you. And I think one of the most happiest things, especially over the past, period that we've been in, was to make it this complete bubble, void of any sort of phobia or racism or pain, really. I mean, they go through emotional arcs, but I really wanted it to celebrate queer joy and found family joy, and be able to be just like the movies that are happy, and you don't have to go through all of this turmoil and grief in a holiday movie. So that's what I wanted this to be too.
I actually noticed that specifically as I was reading, because I love like a happy ending story, and that's what, there's enough darkness in the world, I read as like escapism and like that kind of thing. So I'm the kind of person, I'm always bracing for when something's gonna like.
Yeah, me too.
So I noticed it was one of the reasons I loved it, because I could just sink into it and feel safe, that there wasn't gonna be one of these like horrible remarks that just makes you cringe and then question humanity.
Oh yeah, oh my god. Thank you. That's huge.
Because
that's such a compliment.
A lot of us writers, we are very highly sensitive in the best way, overthinking minds. And I think sometimes when you write that kind of stuff, some people might think that you don't think about these things, but I think the opposite. I think the people who write kind of the lightest, brightest, most beautiful things often have the darkest thoughts. And that's why they can write the light so strongly, because
Ooh, Melanie, oh my gosh, wow.
that's how I felt. Like it shows that the depth is there. And I see that. I see that. And I see that in my friends like Angela, you know, like I know that those smiles are hard won, is what I'm saying. And the sweetness is hard won. So, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
That hit, like, wow.
No, I know. Trust, Melanie comes with it all the time, and I'm like, it's
God, I wasn't expecting that.
I just had coffee. If you ask my husband, as soon as I have coffee, I tend to start monologuing. So you just need to shut me down.
No, keep it coming. It's good stuff.
Yeah, she just brought us to writer church right there. But speaking of husbands, so did you? Oh, sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
Good.
Okay, so you mentioned you read some parts. Did you read all of it to your husband? Has he read your book?
Oh my God, I love him. Okay. I read no. However, in one of the earliest drafts before Pitch Wars, one of my friends was dying over, she had been reading on her Kindle, and at 69% was the time that they got together, like the first big time.
No.
So of course we're super mature and laughing, and I told Michael, and he was like, I want to read it. I was like, oh, okay, you can read it. And then he read it, and he comes up to me, he's like, you are a really good writer. And
wow.
I'm like, I love you so much, because you have never read anything else, like besides short stories that I've written. He's never read an entire novel. And he's like, based on the merit of the sex scene, he was like, yes, I highly recommend this book.
Oh, I love that. Bless. That's so.
Oh my God. And he goes, like, he went to coffee with his friend, and he was recommending it to them. He's like, you could add it on Goodreads. Here's her website. Like, oh my God.
I've been low-key promoting you in that way. Every time somebody's like, what are you reading at the moment? I was like, I'm reading this hard as fuck sapphic rom-com. And I was just like, and my friends were just like, oh, where can I read it? I'm like, you can't, but you can add it on Goodreads. So you're going to have your, like, slowly, your Goodreads Australian counter is going to tick up.
Oh my God.
That's great, Melanie. Way to support. I love that.
You.
I'll be doing the same for you, Angela. When I support my friends, I support hard. I'll be painting.
I was going to say, soon I'll be doing that to you. Give me the car wrap, baby.
Exactly.
For both of you. I'm going to be cheering you all on so hard.
I just feel so lucky that I met you all in Pitch Wars. So for our listeners, Courtney was also in a Pitch Wars 2020 mentee. And I mean, just the most amazing, solid class of life, really.
Right? Yeah. It's been such a blessing.
Yeah. How was that for you? Was this your first time, like, trying out, submitting to Pitch Wars?
Yes. So I knew from basically the moment I joined Twitter that I wanted to enter Pitch Wars. So every year I would be working on whatever novel I was working on at the time and be like, hey, this is it. This is the year I'm going to enter. And I used it as an external motivator to get everything ready. And, you know, I think 5 years went by and I never had anything that was ready. So last year, in 2019, was the closest I had been with a YA fantasy, a high fantasy that I had written. And time came, and I just knew in my gut it needed too much that I already knew how to do. And like what I would say to a hopeful is enter anyway. But for me personally, I didn't. I just knew it wasn't ready, and I didn't want that to be what I entered. So then this last year, I had really burnt myself out on high fantasy. Truly, that's what I had been working on for years. And during that time, I had fallen in love with Helen Wang, Jen DeLuca, Kate Claiborne, all these authors that I just devoured the rom-coms, and they fed my soul. And I never thought I would be able to write one. So in, the dark year of our Lord 2020, I wrote my own it just came out. Like, it just came out. It came quickly, and like everything I had done up until that point, I saw how it impacted my craft in writing this book. So it was ready, and it was the first time I had ever entered anything anywhere besides short stories.
Wow.
So I felt it in my bones that I was ready. It was ready. I could meet the demands of the revision, because I had brought it to a point where I knew I couldn't do anything more on my own. So yeah.
Just listening to what you said about all the things you were working on before Pitch Wars, I always want to come back to these touchstones, because it could look to listeners like you're an overnight success. You entered Pitch Wars, you got in, you got a book deal. But even just listening to it, I'm like, you were working for years on things, honing your craft before you even entered it. And I think that that's what I'm noticing more and more. Like, sometimes when all the things happen for people, if you look back, they've been working for years diligently before all of that. And so
absolutely,
we're ready for it.
In some capacity. Yeah.
Totally. That's so exciting.
That's amazing and beautiful. I love the fact that you wrote fantasy. I had no clue. Yeah. I just assumed like you were a rom-com master. And, and so it's amazing to me that, you wrote fantasy and young adult and all of these things. And then it just wasn't quite where your body probably was telling, it's just not right. Like, you're just not getting it right until you found that thing that just you fell in love with. And then it just flowed right out of you. And I think for a lot of writers, we think that one way is the way until you find, that little special nugget that is yours. And then it just explodes.
I love that.
And, who's to say maybe you'll go back to writing fantasy someday, but, now the sky's the limit, because you can't, because you freaking sold a book. Like, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
Also, sorry, there was
amazing.
I wasn't just randomly waiting.
Like,
you're like,
there was a little fly.
I was like, wow, Melanie's really feeling me right now. Like, she is like, How was it writing the sexy scenes? Because I bumped up mine was originally. I know, I need to know, because I bumped up mine, which was originally young adult, and I bumped it up to adult, and I had so much fun writing the sexy scenes, but like it killed me inside a little bit of just like pure, like maybe someday like my dad might read this.
Oh God, I can't.
It's gonna be like a disclaimer. Like, it's gonna be like, Joe Montoya, you are not allowed to read this. Like, stay away.
It's funny because I definitely am having more of that now, because when I was drafting, there was nothing that it would be out in the world. So I was like, I'm just going to write whatever the fuck I want. Like, I'm going to write anything. And with YA, I did write like a couple self-love scenes, because I think that's super important. Across the board, and I love that we have that in literature now. But I never wrote like couple sex scenes So writing this was a journey, and which involved me sitting in my office late at night with the lights off and like my back to the wall, like, okay, is anybody watching me? But oh my god, honestly, I would put on headphones and just play like, moody music. And I mean, at first it's all blocking, I mean, it's all physical blocking. But the thing I love most about the sex scenes is that they bring you to this place of like the deepest emotional vulnerability for your characters. And I think that was the most fun part for me to really weave in through every revision, was like, how does this scene impact them where they are now? How does this scene impact them where they are later down their arc? And how does it impact them in their overall journey? I love that. How you sort of slowly start unraveling the character the closer they grow together.
Ooh, that's good.
One of the
I'm
things
gonna write that down.
I took screenshots. I forgot to send them. This week got away from me. There was a few, well, not a few places. You did it the whole way through, but there was a few quotes in there that I was just like, preach, girl. Just about like love in general. And I loved that you dissected what I would call true love, which is like fighting for love, choosing love, because I think there's still this whole image perpetuated that like someone just lands in your lap and you sail off into the sunset together, and then people get
Are you talking about me? Are you talking about my life?
No.
I'm just kidding.
No, they fight for love more than any.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
They literally fight for love.
I'm kidding.
Your book is perfect.
Fight for love.
Sorry, go ahead, Mel. It was just too perfect of an opportunity to happen.
Oh, because of the ship. I'm so
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
I'm sorry.
We ship the ship. We ship the ship.
We ship the ship. No, but
Go.
I've lost it now. I'm gone.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, not at all. I set it up. Just the idea of actually having to work for love, and I think that a lot of, there's kind of a negative image towards, great love sometimes from certain angles. Do you know what I mean? And when you actually are able to dissect it and be like, no, it's just like anything. If you work on it, you're going to have great results. It doesn't come ready-made. And there's just a few, I wish I wrote them down. There's a few quotes where it hit me, where they were like, it was that moment where they chose to fight for it and build on what they had. And I just love that you did that, because I think it's realistic of like a strong relationship, even if it's like, well, I mean, they knew each other since they were young. So, but even in like a quick forming love, those little moments, I think, are what holds people together. So I felt that really realistic in the book.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
So tell us about getting an agent, getting the call. How did that all happen for you? How did it feel for you?
Yeah, let's talk publishing. Pitch Wars was, first of all, anything that has come my way, I literally never expected it ever. So like, I never expected to make Pitch Wars. I was a disaster the night I found out I got it. I was like inconsolable, as I'm sure like for yourselves. It was huge. And then even just getting through that, it was like, oh, we did it. Like this huge thing. And I feel like every step of the way, it's about you learning how much you as a person can accomplish. Like even the external validation, we have no control. Not even validation, but just we have no control over what happens externally with our work. So with each step we take, I feel like it's just another opportunity for us to grow. And each time I accomplish something, I'm like, damn, like I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could accomplish that revision, that edit, that draft, you know, and each time you do, it's like, oh, yes. You know, it's like this touchstone for yourself when you tackle tough things in life. It's like, I did that. I can do this. We can do hard things, you know? Okay, so, but the agent.
No, I love that.
Yeah, no, totally. Pitch Wars, I mean, it does test you. It tests, exactly, like it's more of an inward thing of, can I get through this? Can I bust my ass and work like fucking all night to get this next revision in?
Oh my God.
And you know, it tests you. I mean, there were times, most of the times I was like, this bitch has it. Like this, I got it. And then there was times where I was like, no, I don't. And, you know, and leaning on the friends that I met through Pitch Wars, I think was key, because how else, you know, who else knows about what you're going through than someone that's feeling this pressure of just like, it almost feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders for some reason. Like, I don't know why. I think the showcase, like looming, like slowly coming towards you is like, oh shit, like people are going to see this or.
Now, I was thinking too today, I really feel at times, most times, writing as a craft is 80% mental, like just getting out of our own way. And I mean, really like 20% actually doing the writing. Because whenever I sit down and actually write without thinking about anything else, no other pressure, no other, what does this have to be? Can I do it? It flows. It's fine. Like you just, it doesn't matter if the sentence sucks, because I'll go back. Like this is not brain surgery. We can revise. And that's the whole thing, like just to be easy and flow with your words. But to get there, you truly have to like get out of your own way. And that is something I face time and time and time again. It's been my biggest hurdle in this whole journey. Just putting the self-doubt aside and learning how to, you know, really separate from it and get the work done.
I love that. Can I get it on tape?
Because really the writing brings us joy, you know, it does. It's the other stuff that gets in your head that's like, oh, this is so hard. Oh my God, I'm never going to be this. I'm never going to do that. But like once we stop and like, okay, we're in the present and let's just have fun with making art, it takes off that pressure. But I think that getting there sometimes can be like my personally biggest hurdle.
It's so freaking relatable.
Yeah.
I think we all struggle with it.
Totally. And with something like Pitch Wars, I think one of the reasons why it's like almost impossible to numb that feeling is because when you have been working for as long as all of us have been towards something, and you know it's a big chance, I think it's really hard to shut off the part of your brain that's like, you must do everything for this chance, you know, because it's like, it might be for all of us. I think it was our first big opportunity with our writing, right?
Yeah.
And
sure.
I think because of that, you put so much weight in it. But it's really interesting going into, I mentioned that before you came on call, I've got a pitching opportunity tomorrow. And going into that, I'm like calmer about it because I'm working on other stuff. And I think a year ago, I would have been having nonstop panic attacks leading up to it, like no joke. But I'm kind of like, I actually am starting to understand the way the market is like, there might not be, so I'm pitching my Pitch Wars book to some Australian publishers. And they might not be looking for YA Dragon, but even just being able to think like that now and be like, it's a work in progress. And it's like, where can, like, just being able to shift and pivot to not put all the writing eggs in one basket. But I think when you first start getting an opportunity, it's like, this is everything. It's my one chance.
Yeah. So relatable.
Yeah,
like,
no, that's
during Pitch Wars. This is so embarrassing. Overshare. I remember during Pitch Wars playing like that Eminem song. You know, you
put the hood on.
Do not miss your chance to blow.
You need to make a reel of that.
That's highly relatable. And actually, one thing that has helped me a lot was some advice I got from some friend from Pitch Wars to anytime you have a call, like the agent call, the editor call, the anything call, play a song that pumps you up.
Yeah.
Do it. Like
you told me that. You
get
told
yourself.
me
Yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah,
right.
you
I
did.
love
And I was
that.
like, and
DJ
it
Khaled.
worked. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's literally
what?
what I do. Like I just play a whole. Lately, it's just BTS. I've become a total like hashtag BTS army.
Yay! They're so amazing.
I don't
Oh
know,
my
just like always come back to that. And if I'm feeling emo, I just put it on and I just booty dance in the flat where no one can see me. And I feel better every time.
Absolutely.
So
what song were you bumping when you first got your agent call? Were you listening to DJ Khaled?
Yeah,
or
all I do is win. But I'm so extra. I mean, I had like my diffuser going with lavender. I had crystal in my lap. I'm like, had a blanket. I swear to God, I had like soothing. Yeah, there you go. Yes, I had like soothing music playing. My daughter was at a friend's house, and I'm sitting on my computer like with my headphones on. It's plugged into my phone, and I'm typing. I had an entire list for this call. My first call, and I'm going through, like a job interview. I mean, that is one tip too. Like once you start talking with agents, you are interviewing them. Like for you, like you're the one doing the hiring. It's so bizarre because it's almost like the tables flip. Yeah. Like you are now the one who has to decide, as opposed to, please love my work. Like as soon as they're like, I love your work, like let's do this. It's like, okay, well, let me make sure you're the right one for my work. And there are so many great lists out there of questions. I think it was Jim McCarthy had one on his Twitter, and there are some great resources there. Maybe I'll try to like comment on this with the resource, but there are lots of great resources out there with questions. And yeah, so I got the email, and Claire Friedman is my agent. Her email just killed me. She called my book a firecracker, said she read it in one night, and I was like, cool. That's awesome. You call my book a firecracker. Let's do it. But the thing that really connected me with Claire, and I had another agent I was really emotionally attached to. It was difficult, involved lots of ice cream in this decision. And Claire just had a very clear business-minded direction for my, not only this book, but my brand, my future books. And on the phone, it was just so easy going back and forth with her. Like we were really on the same wavelength, and I just knew business-wise we clicked. And I think you're really looking for a colleague, like a business partner. So I think that's where you have to click, even though it can be tough, because especially when you have to make a choice between agents, because it's very emotional. And there are so many great agents,
I mean, because I had a similar situation, and for me it was
right. I remember,
yeah, like right away. The first person I talked to, I was like, this is it. That's it. This is the one. Yeah. And it was completely, my heart had just been like, well, this person's the first one to offer. They're saying such nice things. And I was like, perfect. I don't have to ask anybody else for anything. I'm good. And I even this is terrible, but I was like,
it's a learning process.
You're supposed to, I learned. Yeah. Because so you're supposed to, you get the offer from one agent, and you say you have your work out with other agents. And so you're supposed to give them time to, try to read your book and see if they'd like to offer as well. And so I gave everybody, 2 weeks, I think. And I after like a couple days, I was like, forget it. Like, let's just tell them all, no, thank you. I'm going with this person. I just want to be done. I just want to sign. I'm happy. I'm content. And Margie, my mentor, was like, what? Because I was just like, my heart is happy. And she's like, it's not about your heart, girl. This is business. And
I'm laughing because my friends had to hold me back from like saying, all right, I'm done, chosen. Let's go. Yeah. Wait the 2 weeks, Courtney. Which is industry standard, by the way, PS. 2 weeks, to decide.
Give them 2 weeks. Give them a chance.
That must be the most agonizing 2 weeks, because again, it's like something you've been working towards this whole time. And like, I can totally understand that impulse. Like, I get agent crushes all the time. I'll be like, I'll just be reading this article. I'm like, that is my soulmate agent right there. And
I know it.
Like, we fall really hard. And then I think it's hard to be like, now this person wants you. And it's like, but I'm sorry, you need to wait 2 weeks because that's industry standard. Like, what did you guys even do for that 2 weeks?
I'm going to tell you, I bought a Nintendo Switch and I played Animal Crossing on the couch in my pajamas. That was also how I existed during sub too, so that's great. Just stared into the void. Survived.
It's like so
helped my child survive. Like, we just survived.
Just survived together. How was sub? I mean, I'm pretty sure you were like on it for 30 seconds. How was that for you? Like, what was your like technique going into this? Did you know who your agent was subbing to?
Yeah, and that was one of the questions on the call too. What houses, what imprints do you think would connect with this? What editors do you have in mind? And the fact that she was like, oh yeah, this right away, these people, she knew exactly where this would fit and who would like it. So that's a really good indicator that your agent sort of knows, has their network. So Claire wrote this amazing pitch, like, oh my god, she put my query to shame, that she sent out to editors. I got the list of editors it was going to. We had, I think, about 15 the first round, and by that weekend, everybody had the manuscript, so I was a ghost. That's fine. I was like freaking out. And it's wild on sub. It is literally like a mind fuck. Like, it really, I'm sorry, it's like the second time I've said that word on this show. But
totally
I don't give a fuck.
I mean, my brain could not think about anything else. And the harder I tried, the more it would fixate on no but sub. And I think talking with friends, playing Animal Crossing, staying busy, like anything I could do to stay like engaged, especially during like working from home and homeschooling my child from home. It was like I don't have anything demanding to keep me, at least like physically demanding people. So being engaged in whatever you can be in physically is like, just get outside, do it. I think I gardened a lot.
Garden is amazing. Can we talk about that for just one quick second? Your succulent collection is goals.
Oh my god, thank you.
I love it. It's honestly, it rivals the succulent garden in the Botanic Gardens. And I mean,
whoa, stop it. Oh my gosh. Stop.
I just love when it's all tightly knitted like that. That's very crafty. It looks so pretty when they're close like that. No, it's a master.
Thank you. It was definitely my quarantine hobby that I picked up.
I like that advice about doing something physical, because I think it's so true. Like, when you're home and you're just, it's so easy to just fall back into just fixating on things. But like getting out and like where you can physically or mentally not think of anything but what you're doing at that moment is so key, because it really like helps you stay you know, mentally strong in a lot of ways, you know, just
Yeah.
getting out for a walk or whatever.
Yeah,
Like
whatever you can
getting
do.
out. I know it's hard, you know, because some of us are on lockdown or just
Yeah.
life is just crazy. But
I know.
even, I don't know, finding something to make you physically move and get out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it reminds you that there's stuff outside of writing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
because we have to give 1,000% to like juice out your feelings onto the page. I know for me, I get very like, this is everything, you know, I get into the mindset, and it's actually not helpful because you overthink it, put too much weight on certain things. But yeah, I think unplugging like that and finding physical things to do that are not writing, you're like, this is living too. Writing
Yeah.
is not the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, even Zooming with friends and family, you know,
Yes.
was huge too. Like just getting out of your own, you know, head for a minute.
And I think like I live in a really small apartment, and so when we have lockdown, I mean, we can still get out on walks and stuff, but I find actually even doing little mindful things, like I have a decent plant collection too after we've had 5 lockdowns here in Melbourne, just coming out of our 5th. So I have a really big collection of plants now, not quite some of the Instagram ones you see, but I find if I take a really mindful moment and water all my plants, even something that small,
it's so soothing.
Like, yeah, and I won't let myself go up in my mind. I'll be like, look how shiny the leaf is. Listen to the water pouring. Like, have like a real mindfulness moment of watering my apartment plants.
Yeah. And Angela, you have, I mean, a farm going over there, right?
Yeah.
So you stay busy.
Do. Yeah, I do stay busy, and thank God, because well, sometimes I'm not thanking God. Sometimes I'm complaining like a little biatch, but for the most part, like it really does. I mean, it just keeps you going, and I love, and I try so hard to be mindful. Like Melanie knows, I tried to meditate so hard. I try so hard, but my brain, it just won't. Like it just thinks of food. It thinks
me too.
I just try so hard. So I love the idea. Like I went, because we have a little like creek running through our property. And so I went down, I sat there, and I was just like just listen, Angie. And I just kept telling myself, listen, bitch, just listen. And then I would hear something and I'd be like, oh, what was that? You know, I kept thinking there was like mountain lions.
Too much listening.
So, I'm working. Yeah.
You have mountain lions.
I would hear a branch. Yeah, we have mountain lions. Grant, like, thank God, not, but it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
And that was
same here.
So that was all I heard, because, you know, a branch would snap and I'd be like, and it was a turkey or whatever. But,
oh my gosh.
I'm working on my mindfulness, but I think like going out and just mowing the lawn, like doing something physical where I have to think of like, I have to turn the steering wheel or I'm going to hit the tree. It helps me. So I'm just a mess at all times.
But it is really
You're doing
hard
amazing
to start with. And I honestly struggled like just as much with it. It took me months to learn to meditate. I just kept doing it because I had enrolled in a course. I was at uni at the time studying Japanese, and they had a free mindfulness course. And it wound up just saving me. Like once I actually pushed, so I just kept rocking up to the class and I was like, this isn't working. Like I would shut my eyes and I'd be like, you know, you have an assignment due. What about that friend you haven't called? My goodness. And I just was like, this is not, like, I felt worse after meditating initially because all my thoughts would flood in and suffocate me. But the more, it's literally like a muscle. You just keep running and it's going to get stronger. I promise. And those little like mindful tactics that you're doing, like listening to the water, or like sometimes you can, like, one early practice I did was like counting things like that you can see moving, like the leaf is moving in the wind, the clouds are moving across the sky, or like sounds you hear. It all helps train your brain to like be in the present. But it's hard. It's really, really hard at the start. And I hear a lot of people struggling with the early, because our brains are just like la 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 24/7.
So much. Yeah. Especially for writers, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of times, writers, it's just constantly you're thinking of, you know, a new project or edits you need to do, or just every little, just everything. It's just a constant.
Yeah. And there's that constant pressure to be productive. Like, even in your daily thinking, like, oh, well, I have nothing to do, so at least let me brainstorm that plot hole, you know?
100%. 100%. I don't know where the pressure comes from, but it's like this constant need to like keep producing, produce.
Yeah, like a ticking clock. Yeah. It's wild. I mean, it's not real. It doesn't exist.
Not real.
But like we do it to ourselves.
I think it's just a mark of a busy society around us, and we're constantly that everybody celebrates busy in a weird way. It's like, I've got to do this, and now I'm rushing to this and rushing to this. So if you're a person who tries to,
I'm so important, I'm so valuable.
Yes, people put value in how busy they are. So if you're a person who chooses to step out of that, it's really difficult to shut those voices off that are like, I should be doing something, especially if you're working for yourself or working full-time from home or writing full-time. You definitely feel that, I think, even more, because you're just like, I need to have something to show. I need to be doing something. I need to be productive. But I'm trying really hard to like block those voices out. And, you know, like sometimes, and as you know, you both know, like that I have anxiety and panic attacks and stuff. And a lot of my journey from when I had a nervous breakdown is just learning to be still and just have quiet moments. Because for me, I literally my brain gets overloaded by constant noise and constant busy. So my body's just like, girl, gotta like chill out. And sometimes I just throw myself on the bed and just look at the ceiling. And it's really boring to start with, but it's, just some of those mindful moments. But I'm all for the anti-glorification of busy, you know?
Oh, yes.
It's a twisted mindset and it's unsustainable. Everybody I know who keeps that busy is just perpetually exhausted.
Yeah, and then how do you create like that when you're already depleted? So I think to tie this into like writing too, it's like you have to refill that well, and that can look like so many different things. I mean, since Pitch Wars, I haven't drafted anything, and it's been how long? Quite a few months now. And I think I feel like a lot of guilt, like why haven't you been working on the next book? Why? But like I allowing yourself the space to be okay with where you are is huge. Like, we're not running out of time. We're doing okay. Like, that's huge. It's a big deal. And I think in our fast-paced society too, it's even more of a pressure with our phones and how fast things move and how fast we communicate. It's just sometimes you need to just step back.
Yeah, I think that's so key. And I feel that like even when writing, if my phone is next to me, like I'm not writing. I'm getting distracted because I'm checking. Even if I'm like, oh, I need to Google this just to make sure it's a fact, you know, and I'm Googling it and then I get sidetracked because I'm like, you know what, I should probably just check Instagram just to be sure because a million people message me all the time. That's not true. But like, you know, it just, this world is so full of distractions and I think that, and I always go back to Big Magic, the book.
I love that book.
I knew you would.
Right there somewhere.
Right here. I knew you would.
I'm rereading it right now.
Oh, are you rereading it?
It because it's
so good.
Yes.
It is. And it just makes you remember that it is this beautiful thing, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be
Yes.
this thing that fills you up and that, you know, empties you out, but it's this beautiful process. And I think so often we're so busy trying to manufacture a new book or, you know, on to the next thing that we forget that it's supposed to be beautiful. And, you know, it's supposed to be this like little rosebud that you're just like trying to help grow and cultivate. And so I constantly keep telling myself that and then forgetting. So I'm just putting it on the podcast now that I'm supposed to remember, to like just to like breathe a little, like,
Mm.
and let your writing breathe and explore. And I think I need to go back and just listen because I have it on audio book. So I think I just need to go back and just like
Nice.
listen and remember. You know, it's supposed to be this beautiful thing and not torture like I always joke it is, but because I make it that way. You know, it's not supposed to be torture. It's supposed to be this. It's supposed to be fun, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's not.
And I think when we're not so focused on hammering towards an end result and really allowing ourselves to enjoy the journey, literally in every step of this entire process, it really gives you back so much more. Like it builds you up to enjoy the journey as far as making friends, like cheering other people on, loving other people's work. I mean, having the moments of writing that on hard days when you don't want to sit down and you do, and saying, you know what, good job, you got 200 words, you know,
Mm.
no, you didn't finish the chapter you wanted to today, but you did what you could.
Yeah.
And that's huge. Like every single step is something to celebrate, truly, because everything is building towards, I mean, not even to put productivity on it, but I read this quote today that was something like, you're not just waiting, you're kind of sitting in the capability of what you will become. So, like, even all that time, I always felt like, oh, I'm not making any progress. I'm not accomplishing anything. I don't have anything to show for all this freaking time, all this work that I've put in. I mean, my daughter is almost 10 now, and I wanted to start writing since I was pregnant. So that's kind of how I think about how long I've been doing this. And it got super discouraging sometimes because, oh, you write? Oh, do you have a book? No, like, sorry, I don't have a finished product. But like, it really is building towards what you will create. Like everything matters that you do every minute, even when it feels like today was wasted. I didn't write today. Okay, fine. That's just like a step in your journey. You'll write tomorrow. You saw something today that you'll think of in the future that will go in your book, or you felt something today, or you experienced something today. You know, as writers, our work is such a part of like what we experience, and I think that's so valid to like take time away
Yeah.
from the work to experience.
That's beautiful. Not gonna lie, that was beautiful. And well, even you going and visiting the cute little town, and you
Yeah.
know, it's like, and you just store it in your memory, but
Everything.
experience it and love it and just like live it. But it's gonna come back, and each new experience you have, it will come back. And
Totally.
and
Even
it all
like when you
feeds-
least expect it.
And I
yeah.
think it's those voices, those negative, those do you have a book yet? The you know, the people who just ask the question that like makes you panic. And that's a lot of where that productivity thing pressure comes from, I think. And that's why I cannot stress enough how crucial it is to find your community. That it's gonna be the positive. Like I can honestly say now that all the writing voices uplift me, my friends, you know, like when I'm feeling like uncertain about my path or uncertain about a direction or whatever, you guys, my community, are are always uplifting. It's never that like, well, you know what I'm talking about? And we've all had writing friends like that, and they make you doubt. And it's scary and hard enough without that. So finding the people who want you to shine, it's like a world of difference. So what's next for you, Court? Are you taking a break, a well-earned break now after everything, or you have something that in the works?
Yeah. I just today finished my edits, which was huge. Like a huge victory for me, because probably mentally this was the hardest writing thing I've done. I mean, I had maybe, and it's different for everybody, you know, depending on how fast their editor gets back to them and what their timeline looks like. But I had I think about 2 months to work on my edit letter and my line edits simultaneously. And I think because all the work I did in Pitch Wars, and like thanks to my amazing mentor Rachel Lynn Solomon, you know, just how she worked with me and how we clicked and how much we did. I really, I don't want this to come off as a brag, but my edits were not huge. In the future, I'm sure they will be, but the edits for this book weren't huge. So I had a lot of time. So I really got into my head of, this is the first time I have to deliver like professionally, and it was a big process for me to go through. And so I think, you know, that's something too, like everything you go through, especially like what we did in Pitch Wars, getting ready for the showcase, everything you go through in preparing your work to be read by betas or CPs, everything is preparing you, you know? So I kind of harkened back to some things I remembered from that experience and just, okay, just sit down and write. And some things that helped me was like making comments in the margins as opposed to editing the draft that I had. So it didn't feel permanent. So I could kind of get in there and dig without messing anything up mentally, like that I thought I might mess up. That was really helpful.
Good.
But yeah, so edits are done. Yay. Yeah, my outline for book 2 was approved, so that's super exciting. So now I get to draft again. I'm really excited to draft again. Like, I mean, remind me that, you know, next month, but right now I'm excited. Yeah, and then down the line, I mean, it comes out, book 1 comes out September of next year.
Oh my gosh.
Which feels far, but is actually also doesn't feel far.
Right. With just life in general, it will come so fast. That is amazing. Yeah. Are you doing something to like celebrate yourself today besides talking to us? I mean, you know.
No, I mean, this was the celebration because I've been so excited to talk to you guys. I had 2 servings of ice cream when I finished. So, I mean, that was, I always celebrate with food. Is that?
Yes. That is in my books, that is the best celebration ever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Food.
Well, I would go for 3 servings today because that's huge.
What are we talking about a serving? What was a serving? Like a cup?
Oh no, like a heaping bowl. Like I had 2 of them. Yeah.
American servings are just heaping. The more, the better.
Because I'm like, recommended serving on the back is usually a lie. It's like a tablespoon or something. I'm just like, I saw a meme the other day that was like the mac and cheese thing. And I was like, so apparently I'm a family of 4.
That's good.
Yeah, me too.
It's true. The servings are a lie. Like if you're a sparrow,
who eats that?
No. Life is too short. Like just have a 3rd heaping bowl of ice cream and just
here. So we want to start like a new little bit where we ask our guests what is like one of their weird like obsessions or quirks or something people might not know about.
Okay. Okay, I really think any of my quirks or obsessions really have to do with my mental health. I too suffer from anxiety and panic attacks. And I mean, not to make this all serious, but really, like anything if I don't take a shower in the morning, if I don't get ready, especially during this time that I've been at home, it's like the day that it doesn't exist. It's like a giant long morning and I don't feel like I'm ready to go. So I have to take a shower in the morning. I don't know. I mean, what are all like the writerly things?
Or like a pet peeve, like you can't stand the sound of people chewing. I don't know.
No, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty. I wish I could think of something, but
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
I'm having a hard time.
No.
I have to take a shower.
Yeah.
I take a shower, wash my hair every day.
Oh, your
Okay.
lavender lattes. Your lavender lattes.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be like I think you're known for your lavender lattes. And it infiltrated
God.
me to
What an honor. I love them. We went on vacation to Monterey at the beginning of the summer, and I splurged and had one every single day. And I was like,
Yes.
this is vacation. Any little like cafe, like local cafe, they're gonna have it. They're gonna have but now where you live, Mel, they don't have
Not
it.
where I live. I was just feeling Devo because I have to say, I searched for like a few hours to try find a cafe in Melbourne that would do it. And I was honestly, I didn't even think it was like Melbourne. We're known for our coffee. I did not even think it was going to be a problem. And we have rainbow lattes, we have turmeric lattes. So it's like lavender latte, it's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find it anywhere. So I was Devo, but I ordered a Luna latte. But I don't think it's what you've been having. Is what you've been having like coffee with lavender, like syrup in it, hey?
Yeah, exactly. It's a latte with they make it with the lavender syrup. And one time I actually did make it at home, and I picked lavender buds, and you make the simple syrup with the lavender, you strain it out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
Was
good.
it good?
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
That's so
send me
witty
your
of
recipe
you.
so I can have an official Courtney Kae lavender latte.
Do you have lavender just like lying around around the
Me?
I do. Not to brag, but
Yeah.
I do.
I
That
mean,
does not surprise me one bit. I have a few lavender bushes, yeah.
I'd have to steal it from my neighbor because I'm in an
That's worth it.
But I mean, it grows onto the street, and if it grows onto the street, it's public property.
Public property. You're just helping the neighborhood at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah, you are doing your civic duty of just cleaning up. I want to ask Courtney, what are you watching right now? Like, what are you binging on? Because I'm on Twilight. I'm going hard. I'm on.
Oh my God. Okay, so Twilight segue. The whole reason I started writing, and this will age me, it's fine. I'm 35. It's fine. So
What a baby!
We're all the same age. Pretty much.
I love that. Okay, so you will understand. I didn't have anything like Twilight growing up. Nothing. And I read it when I was in my early 20s. I was like, what is this hot vampire? Like, what is happening? And it like opened my eyes to loving literature again. And I read that Stephanie Myers wrote the books while she was in swimming lessons with her kids. Like her kids were swimming and she's sitting there writing vampire books. I'm like, sweet. I could write a book maybe. And so that's how I started writing.
I love that.
But
That was one of our questions that we forgot to ask. What started you writing? So we came back in a circle. It was like right up the top.
Edward Cullen. I mean, that's how I started writing.
So you were Team Edward then?
I was. Okay.
I'm just kidding.
So-
I'm Team everybody.
Jacob is from my town, like Taylor Lautner. So I know it's funny, but he actually went to this church that I went to when I was young, and when he first got on like Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah.
And he got up on stage and talked about his first role as an actor, and he was like a little baby, like 12 years old. I think I was like, shoot, how old was I? 18, 19? And so going into the movies, I'm like, no, like he's a baby. Like that's Taylor Lautner, and no. But like in this town, is still like, I remember going out to like Olive Garden. Teenagers would have the big old cardboard cutouts of him, like taking him to dinner. It was awesome.
Gosh.
It was awesome. So yes, I was always like Team Edward.
You're like, no, he's a baby.
He's a child.
I'm finding myself more Team Carlisle.
Oh, let's talk about Carla, because that's where it is now. I mean, yes.
I've grown since.
Yeah, I mean, Edward doesn't do it anymore.
The directors were smart because they gave us somebody hot for every age.
Hey, Carlisle has a job. He's dependable.
Yeah, he can heal your wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the slick hair.
Right with that.
Oh, the Twilight movies. They're great.
Yeah.
Oh, I love them.
I know. No, go ahead, Mel. Sorry.
No, I feel like people discredit them too much, but realistically, it's YA, and it's like literally all the angst. I don't know what the books are like, really. I did try to read them, but she has a very, what is it, purple prose, like the really flowery type writing. That's not really my style, so I didn't make it through the books, but I
read all the books.
I rewatch them like every few years. I'll admit that.
Yeah. I actually haven't seen all the movies. I know, for shame.
Excuse me?
I know, but I read all the books. Like, I think I was still reading them while she was writing them. So
cool.
As soon as they came out, I was like devouring.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm watching it with my 13-year-old. And just to hear her like laughing through scenes, I was like, and she's like, like, this is serious. This is serious.
3 years in the future. Yeah.
She's like, this is ridiculous. This is so not like, and she was like, this is toxic. And I'm like,
it is. I mean, yes, absolutely. It has so many faults, but like, oh no.
Just like, let it go. Let it be.
And I mean, it is all the cheese as well. Like, there's so much cheese, and definitely, I mean, there's also just a lot of like breathing each other. They're just always sniffing each other. They're just like, and I have never said
they're gonna like eat each other.
Yeah, they're just like strangely addictive, and so I just go with them.
Oh yeah.
They are. They're great. They're fantastic.
I keep seeing this, like, I don't know, MSWL on Twitter, like, about bringing the vampires back. Yes, please. Especially like we don't need any more white vampires. Like, let's bring every yeah.
I think give them ever get sick
more
vampires.
Yeah, we need diverse vampires.
Yes,
for sure.
I'm with it for sure.
I'm not sure when Zoom is going to cut us off, because it gives us a 40-minute block apparently now.
Yeah.
So maybe we can tie up before it decides to cut us off. But it's just been so wonderful having you on, and I just knew we were going to have so much fun. I literally just feel like I've been out with my awesome friends for coffee. It's the nicest feeling.
Aww.
I never thought that I could feel that way over Zoom, but it's been wonderful. And
same.
We wish you all the best as publication comes up, and we'll be cheering so loud for you. So where can our viewers find you online?
Sure. Twitter, Instagram at Court_K, and then CourtneyKaeBooks.com.
And they can go ahead and go to Goodreads, can't they? And put on their add to read.
In the event of love, yes. Yes.
Yes.
So
And
everybody,
they absolutely should, because this book is literally a firecracker
yes.
that explodes in the sky and sparkles down Christmas magic. It is the best book.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love you all, and I'm so happy that I got to be here with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll have you again one day in the future. And yeah,
Yay,
thank you
I would love it.
for coming on. So we'll see you on the gram.
See you there.
Bye.
Thank you,
Court.
friend. Bye.
I'm drinking now.
Yeah. Well, we're still recording.
Oh.
But I
You
can't
already
wait for
stressed over
everyone to read her book. It's just, it was such a guilty pleasure, and just, you just feel like it's a big warm hug reading it, you know? And
It
beyond.
is. That's good. That should be the blurb. A big warm hug and beyond. It's true. That's good. That's good. That needs to be quoted and sent to her.
All right, I will. Oh, well, it's been a wonderful episode. And yeah, so next month, our guest is Margie or Kyla?
Margie Fuston. She's our next guest. And her book comes out like in August. So it's perfect.
Can't
Definitely.
wait to have her on.
Well, and yeah, she's just so knowledgeable just about everything. And so she should be really fun to have on.
Yeah, I can't believe Jacob lives in Courtney's town. That's a claim to fame.
I would probably find his house.
I mean, you know, well, he'd be our age now.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay now. But
well, so it's going
funny.
to be amazing episode next month. And yeah, as always, our listeners can find me at Melanie_Schubert_writer on Instagram, because that's where we both live.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's true.
And
they can find me at Angela Montoya Writes on Instagram, because it is true. Like, we literally live on Instagram. So
got your chillax feeds on as well. I love it. We're
yes.
I love that we both had our calming crystals. You're like putting your crystal up. I had this one beside me.
We're like, girl, we get it. We get it. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Thank you to our lovely listeners for continuing to cheer us on and make us able to do this, because you know we wouldn't do it if there was no listeners. So yeah, thank you for joining us for episode 4, and we look forward to chatting with you more all about this wild, twisty journey through Riderland. And yeah, thank you all. We'll see you next time.
Have a wonderful. Yes, exactly. Cheers.
Cheers.